Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us for THV 11 News at noon. I'm Brooke Buckner in for Journey Taylor, and I have meteorologist Simone Thomas with me, and it's looking like a very nice start to our St. Patrick's Day.
It is. I mean, we have an area of high pressure to our south promoting a lot of sunshine, so perfect conditions for all of those parades happening today. Temperatures at this point in the day, we're hanging out in the lower to middle 60s, a few upper 60s to our south, 64 right now in the capital city, 65 in Hot Springs, 67 in Pine Bluff and Arkadelphia. As we continue through the afternoon, looking to actually warm up to the lower and middle 70s. So a little bit warmer than what we saw yesterday with that sunshine. But as we continue getting more updates on what happened over the weekend, we're now up to 9 confirmed tornadoes from Friday. We had 1 EF1 tornado in southwest Arkansas, 4 EF2 tornadoes across the state, 2 EF3 tornadoes, as well as 2 EF4 tornadoes. Now, if you were watching yesterday, you heard me mention this is the first time Arkansas has recorded more than 1 EF4 or F4 tornado since March 1st, 1997. Now, the National Weather Service is still sending survey teams out, so this number is likely going to change again over the coming days. But we'll talk more about the week ahead, as well as that next chance for storms coming up in your 7-day outlook. That's going to be at 12:13.
Thank you, Simone. We continue to follow recovery efforts following Friday night's deadly tornado outbreak here in Arkansas. At least 3 people were killed, dozens others are hurt. And in towns like this, Cave City, people are still assessing the damage left behind. This drone footage shows the destruction caused by the EF3 storm. According to the Arkansas Division of Emergency Management, the 3 deaths happened near the community of Cushman in Independence County. 32 others were hurt across 8 counties. Governor Sanders declared a state of emergency late Friday night as the storms moved across the state. It will assist the recovery efforts in at least 16 counties. Meanwhile, 70 members of the Arkansas National Guard are mobilized in Jackson and Sharp counties to help with traffic and security, especially in communities like Cave City.
I've seen the hurricanes in Louisiana. I've seen the floods in North Carolina. I've seen the tornado in wind. It's nothing like when it hits you. It's overwhelming. I can't even hardly talk about it without tearing up, because this is my community. This is our community. And all these people we know.
That is Cave City resident and volunteer Barry Wilkes, one of many who showed up to help his neighbors affected by the tornado. All of the manpower and donations are being organized and sent out from right here at the Cave City Middle School gym. Early Saturday morning, it turned into what's now being called the Command Center of Caring. Everything you see here are donations from local families, church groups, and businesses. Volunteers like Wilkes say you can see the despair in people's eyes, but you haven't seen anyone giving up.
People know that there's hope, that it's going to be a long process to rebuild back better. But to see those people with hope in their eyes, that's what it's all about. And to know that we do have these things and our communities come together to do these things.
Officials in Cave City say they've reached their limit of volunteers right now. However, they still need items like chainsaws and excavators. Crews from FEMA are starting to arrive in Cave City. Their mission to help with the process of clearing large debris. They will also set up a command center where people can apply for federal help. Cave City Mayor Jonas Anderson tells us, despite the widespread destruction that's clear in the video, the community is thankful no one in the area was seriously hurt.
We had about 5 or so injuries that we know of. One of those was a police officer of ours that was on duty at the time. He's going to be okay. To my knowledge, the other injuries are going to be okay. I think 3 of them went to the hospital just to get checked out and everything, but so far we're good on that.
The mayor says Cave City is now a regional hub, helping people affected in neighboring communities with their needs. The American Red Cross is already on the ground in Cave City. A shelter is open at the First Assembly Church. The address and phone number are there on your screen. You can find more info on that and ways to help on thv11.com. We're also getting a look at damage in Greene County after its second EF2 tornado in less than a year. The National Weather Service confirms the storms touched down there Friday night. Paragould Municipal Utilities shared these photos showing the aftermath. You can see it uprooted trees, damaged roofs, and took down power lines. The city was under curfew Saturday and last night. That is now lifted as people there work on repairs and cleanup. This past weekend, severe weather outbreak killed 40 people across 7 states in a system that brought high winds, rain, tornadoes, and even wildfires. CBS's Jason Allen shares a closer look at the impacts from Missouri.
Oh my God!
A severe storm system has pummeled the country, leaving a path of destruction.
Right here is where my room is.
9-year-old Alea Contreras convinced her family to evacuate their home in Poplar Bluff, Missouri, before a tornado barreled through Friday night.
I was like, we've stayed here through several tornadoes. It'll be fine. And then she was like, no, Mom, we need to leave.
Alea's mom, Kelsey Webb, heeded her third grader's warning, driving away minutes before the tornado hit.
You feel pretty lucky that something inside you this time told you to leave?
Yeah, we wouldn't be alive.
Dozens across the country have died in the storm. In St. Louis, tornadoes ripped apart homes and businesses and flipped over tractor trailers. Winds up to 80 miles per hour gusted through the South and Midwest, with tornadoes tearing down homes in Louisiana and ripping trees from the ground in Arkansas. Hundreds of thousands are without power across the country. A state of emergency was declared in several states, including Alabama, where a tornado threw a bus on top of a school building. In Oklahoma, wildfires ripped through the state, fueled by strong winds and dry conditions. Crews are still battling the fires, many forced to evacuate, with 130 fires reported across the state. Deer were seen fleeing the flames.
It still doesn't feel real.
Kelsey Webb is urging her children to see the good through the destruction.
We're all okay. We're not injured. We're alive. All the stuff can be replaced.
Jason Allen, CBS News.
President is standing by his decision to invoke a little-used wartime law to deport accused gang members. Taureen Small has the latest from the White House, where President Trump also had something to say about some of former President Biden's pardons.
The government of El Salvador released video of what it says are planes from the U.S. carrying nearly 250 Venezuelan migrants, many accused gang members. President Trump invoked the Alien Enemies Act to carry out the quick deportations without the usual legal steps.
This is a time of war because Biden allowed millions of people, many of them criminals, many of them at the highest level. These were bad people.
On Saturday, a federal judge ordered the flights to return to the U.S., but the Justice Department said the planes had already left U.S. territory, so the courts had no jurisdiction. On Fox and Friends Monday, President Trump's so-called border czar said more flights are planned.
We're not stopping. I don't care what the judges think. I don't care what the left thinks. We're coming.
The Alien Enemies Act has only been invoked 3 times in U.S. history. President Trump's use of it in this circumstance has sparked lawsuits.
The law is crystal clear that it can only be used in a declared war or where a foreign government or nation is actually and militarily invading our country. That is not the situation here.
President Trump is also warning his political rivals that they are now subject to investigation, even though many of them already received preemptive pardons from former President Biden. In a social media post, Trump claims Biden's pardons of members of the January 6th Select Committee are void because he says Biden's signature was done by AutoPen, and he claimed without evidence that Biden was unaware of the pardons. Among those who received preemptive pardons, Democratic Congressman Benny Thompson and former Congresswoman Liz Cheney. Taureen Small, CBS News, the White House.
Tomorrow, President Trump said he would be speaking with Russian President Vladimir Putin to discuss ending the war in Ukraine. The Hogs are dancing into the NCAA tournament. Everything you need to know about the big game after the break.
And a beautiful rest of your day in store. Temperatures are climbing to the lower and middle 70s across central Arkansas with gusty winds. A detailed look at the week ahead is coming up after the break.
And don't forget, new local shows are coming up right after this newscast, streaming on THV 11+. Here's a look at what you'll see over the next couple of hours. Remember, you can download THV 11+ on your TV and watch for free. We're back right after this.